Hello, I'm Danny Barnts, and I'm joined today by the head coach of the Cal State East Bay women's basketball team, head coach Jenny Thigpin. Coach, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Danny.
Let's talk a little bit. We just want to hear a little bit about the Pioneers from your own words. So let's just jump right into this one. You are right. Oh, go for it.
Sorry, we've got a great group of returners that are coming off their Sweet 16 appearance in the NC2A tournament last year. Got 4 solid kids that had major minutes, major impact. So their leadership is kind of leading the way this year. Delia Moore, Grace Campbell, Taylor Lindsay, and Abby Cooper. Just born leaders naturally on and off the court. They strive in that position. So having them with ample experience that knows what it takes to win, knows how to be disciplined. It's just been a great run for us thus far.
And let's be honest to each other too. It's probably got to be nice for you as a coach stepping in with people that already have discipline and knowledge of the way you probably want your program going, correct?
Most definitely. They are always looking, for what's next, coach, looking at the sideline for the next play. Very smart individuals, giving them a little bit of freedom to kind of play on their own this year. They had a lot of sets last year that they ran. And so this year we're just running an offense where they're allowed to make reads and react and take what the defense gives them.
Fantastic. So I guess let's jump right into that then. So I do see you guys are second right now in the conference in scoring. Let's be 100% honest with each other. When you look at a Cal State East Bay team, you do not think second in the conference. Is that the personnel that you have, or is that the style that you kind of mentioned with opening it up?
That's the kind of style that we're adapting. We want to play fast. We want to be aggressive. We want our defense to create our offense. So just playing an up-style tempo. We want to play fast, but we want to play under control. So, they have a lot of freedom in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. We're thinking transition first. If we don't have anything in the transition, we'll pull it out and run our offense from there. But they got a lot of reins this year, giving them, just the freedom to find the quick available shot for them that falls within our system.
Obviously, I haven't seen your whole team this year. I had a chance to watch you last year in the tournament and everything like that. You had some size on the team, but the team was not huge. But I'm looking down at the stats right now, and you are 7th in the country in rebounding margin at almost 14 a game. What is helping to lead to this huge advantage on the glass for your team?
Our kids play with heart. They play until the whistle. They go hard. They hustle. They're hard nosed. That's a great stat. Honestly, I feel like I'm yelling at them all the time. Get to the offensive glass. But we have a goal on our stat sheet. Is we want to get at least 16 offensive rebounds per game. So we've been up there in regards to reaching that goal. But now our next step is to converting, making that, into second chance points. So giving us, the best available look at the rim. And if the first one doesn't fall, then they have no quit. They go and they get the second one.
Well, that's great. We went through the stats. I'm glad we busted some out there. Also got to mention you guys are second in the conference in free throw percentage, almost 73%. So nice to see that one as well. But if somebody else, if we were talking about your team and something I'm not going to see show up in the box score or the season stat, what would you say one of your strengths are? Something that doesn't show up in the numbers as much?
The 50-50 balls. That's something we pride ourselves in, getting, as many possessions as we can at the end of the game. We want to be the team with the most possessions. So any loose ball is ours. You will see our kids dive and hit the floor. They sacrifice their bodies, they sacrifice each other. And that kind of goes along with their heart that I mentioned. There is no quit in them. They're going to keep going. They're going to learn to play till the whistle goes. So that's one thing that they definitely pride themselves in, is those 50-50 balls.
Fantastic. You've kind of touched on some of these things, but I'm going to ask you on a more specific way. Let's say somebody from the GNAC is scouting your team in mid-February, something like that. What do you want that assistant coach, going back to the head coach, what do you want them saying about your team and the identity of the Pioneers once you get into the season a little bit more?
Our goal is to play fast. Being able to be a well-rounded player, being able to attack one-on-one. I hit them on the head with it almost every day. Is like, eyes on the rim. You've got to think, be a scorer first, and that's 1 through 13 on our roster. Every single one of them has that mentality to catch, to score first, and just going out there and somebody has to stop me. If somebody stops me, now I kick. So being able to create for your teammates, create for each other, and then just being a threat yourself. If we have 5 threats on the floor at all times, then we're hard to beat.
Fantastic. So one of the other things about that is obviously you came together. You're new with the team this year, so you were learning a lot of stuff about it throughout the year. But what you came together in September, conditioning. Your first practice is October 15th, but I'm sure you don't want who your team was on November 11th to be the last time that they grow. I know you want to continue to improve throughout the year. So tell me, how can your team be better on March 1st than it is on December 1st?
Right now, I think it just, priding ourselves in our defense. Just as much as you've got to have that threat to score offensively, you got to take pride in your defense. Your one-on-one matchup doesn't score on you. We call out screens. We have a big cohesiveness on defense, being able to communicate, being able to talk, and being that we don't have 6'4", 6'5" in the paint, we're able to switch. We're able to throw different looks of defense at teams. If a screening offense is hurting us, then we're able to switch 1 through 5. So being just cohesive together on the defensive end as a whole unit is our ultimate goal come March. Hopefully we'll get it together before that, but that's one thing that I want my team to pride themselves is defense. Yes, we can score the basketball, but can we eliminate the other team from scoring?
Fantastic. I talked about the October 15th. You have a chance to come together, practice for about 3 weeks before your first game. It comes so quickly on that one. But now you've been about 3 weeks into the season, something like that. What surprised your team during these first 3 weeks of the season?
I think just the tempo, playing fast. We run practice with a 20-second shot clock. So we want to play as fast as we can. So that, just obtaining the tempo. We played a very tough Northwest Nazarenes up in Napa, Idaho to open the conference challenge opening weekend. And after that game, they literally sat back and were like exhausted because of the tempo that they kept and they maintained. That's just something I want them to strive for every game out, playing fast, being able to, play 5-minute increments until we get to that media. But that's our goal, is to own the tempo.
Fantastic. All right. This final question for you. You don't have to give away too much. We're not trying to jump into your locker room and get too much in there, but if what you're willing to share, can you talk to me some of the goals you and your team have laid out for this upcoming CCAA season?
Number 1 is just to be competitive every day out. If that's on the practice court, if that's, in conference play, just being able to compete, taking pride in what it is that we're doing. So, we open at home this weekend. Our goal is not to lose a home game. So we want to protect our court. Some statistic goals is, taking care of the ball, eliminating our turnovers. I've already mentioned the offensive goal. But at the end of the day, we take one game at a time, making sure that we are focused and prepared on that opponent. But, being in the top of the CCAA conference is huge for us. Some of the girls on the returning team last year took a little offense to where they landed in the preseason polls. So their goal is to finish above that. Which I think is great. Try and tell them don't take those personal. But at the end of the day, just to be better every day out is our number 1 thing. But, to finish in the top of the conference, to make sure that, we've got some pretty competitive games and competitive opponents. So, we've got some goals on our schedule that say, sweep this road trip, sweep that road trip. And again, not to lose at home.
Fantastic. That's a great insight. And as you mentioned, you guys will have a chance to open conference play this week. I know some of the other teams around the league have, but you guys will host. I know we don't want to look ahead, but it's Humboldt and then Sonoma State to open the open conference play. So, Coach, just good luck to you and your team this year, and hope to be talking to you again in March, as hopefully you're heading over to Turlock for the CCAA tournament.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time today.